Welcome to Foxbody FX. I'm glad you found me. My name's Lance. I am excited about today's video. If you would, please go ahead, click the subscribe link, click the notifications. I know you've heard this a million times, but I have hundreds and hundreds, actually thousands of non-followers that watch the videos. Love for you to be a subscriber. If you've enjoyed this content, I would appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button, hit the like. Thanks again. Let's get into today's video. I think it's going to be a really good one and you're going to love it. So here we are. We're sitting here front and center. We're going to talk about this car, but we're going to talk about a quick rundown of our top deals and all the things that we thought of the recent Mecum auction, as well as the last 60 to 90 days on Bring a Trailer, and talk about what that means. And it's just have some fun. And here with me is my good buddy, Chet Zeidler. Chet, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Lance. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chet, why don't you guys, or why don't you tell everybody, all the viewers, just real quickly, a little bit about yourself and why I invited you in to do this with me.
Absolutely. Well, once again, it's an honor to be here with you. And speaking about Mecum, I mean, we got a little excitement here in the wintertime, talking about our Foxes and the passion we have for these crazy cars.
Absolutely.
But I've been in the hobby for almost 30 years. Current collection, I've got 393 Foxbodies in it, 93 feature car, 93 GT black on black 5-speed hatch, 93 SSP Calypso coupe black interior, and I do have a teal, just like the picture, teal 93 Cobra in my background here with a opal gray leather interior. Absolute blast. For me, once again, I've been around for a long time. I do know quite a few folks, but for those of you that don't know me, I also help out quite a bit in the social media world. I either admin or moderate the stock Foxbody page on Facebook, premium Foxbody coupe notch page, as well as the Mustang SSP pages and premium Foxbody convertible page. So get to see a lot of the behind the scenes things and try to keep those pages rocking and rolling with some pretty cool content from the people that utilize them. And I'm glad to do it.
Yeah, that's excellent, man. Appreciate that. So tell us real quick before we get into this teal Cobra, the one that's literally behind you in the garage, how many miles are on that car?
That car has 80,000 miles on it.
Okay.
As she sits.
I love it.
I purchased it about 13, 14 years ago from the original family. Was a one owner car, so myself buying it.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's a great car. Love it. Love the car. It's been a blast.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Can't believe how they've gotten crazy on us.
Yeah. So in today's video, we're talking about obviously the Mecum auction that just happened, as well as Bring a Trailer, what's happened over the last maybe 60 to 90 days. We're going to go through it. We're going to show you guys a lot of things as far as like, here's the cost, here's what they ended for, all this stuff. But we're going to give you a little bit of what our opinion is. So, you know, it is opinion. If at the end of the day you don't agree with it, that's okay. You can have an opinion. We can have an opinion. We just want to talk about it because it's fun, and also because this is a hobby and it's about community, but it's also about what's going on in the hobby. And sometimes there's things like this that happen that really adjust what people start to ask for cars or those kind of things. And so I think it's good to think about it in multiple ways. So that's why I wanted to have a guest on and talk about it, not just my opinion, but the two of ours, and kind of go back and forth. So do your own research before you buy or sell a car or anything like that, of course, but enjoy this video. So let's get right into it. What do you think, Chet? This 93 teal Cobra, my absolute favorite color. The color itself just gets me every time. But at $88,000 all in price, at 3,765 miles though, like, we've got to be real clear. I mean, Chet, I know you're going to go into some details because you got one right behind you, but we have to be clear with people. This is not just a top tier car. This is like almost super duper low mileage, which makes a huge difference. So this is literally, like, I would say this is a collector car. This is not a car that people will drive. Correct?
Absolutely. Agree 100% on it. Yeah. And to back up a little bit about what you said, in my opinion, absolute collector grade quality that came out of a, family's private collection.
Yep.
They maintained it evidently, meticulously. I wish I could have seen it in person. It's stunning to see picture wise. I did have a few folks who were able to check it out and kind of gave us a little feedback on it here and there.
Yeah.
But and this video is really nice that Mecum's doing now.
It is. I love that. And I also want to say a quick shout out. Thank you for Matt Lazaic. So last night, Chet and I and Matt, we actually we went over all these cars and we spent almost 2 hours, and I had an audio just complete tech failure. And so we're kind of redoing it, but we're shortening it down, condensing it. We're going to hopefully do all this in 30 minutes or so. But thanks again for Matt with NPD for being a part of all this, sent some great pictures, which we'll use, and being there and kind of giving us his perspective, which we'll translate tonight. So this is cool that Mecum started doing this video little walk around, because it's a new feature.
It is. It is. And at least, you know, if you don't have boots on the ground or somebody there that can check out the car for you, you get at least a pretty reasonable view of what you're bidding on if you're bidding from home. So, but once again, just to piggyback on what you were commenting regarding a collector grade, collector quality car. I mean, 93 Cobras, as we all know, have just gone crazy. It's top of the heap right now in the Foxbody world, especially for low mile. Teal always, or lately is more than lately, is definitely generating more buzz. Red and black are great cars as well. I love them. I love them all. But I got a couple good buddies of mine. I've stole it from them. They kind of call it the teal tax on the teal cars.
I like that.
There's a little extra bump on a teal car.
That's right.
And it's pretty cool. And this one looks optioned really nicely with the opal gray interior. Now, a black car, everybody at home knows, black interior car, I'm sorry, would definitely spike this number even more, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but boy,
mine too.
$88,000. I mean, I've been following these cars very closely. I take quite a bit of information down on them from sales, past, current, you know, and upcoming, to see what they're doing. And definitely an impressive number, but I think probably where this car should be, and maybe just a little bit under the money. I mean, it could have maybe done a little bit more, but
yeah,
the number.
No, I kind of agree with that. And so this was the star of the show. This was the top seller of the 32 that actually crossed the block. There was a 79 pace car that I don't think made it across. There's no stats on that one, so we don't really know, but there's 32 total cars that went across the block this past week or so at Mecum and Kissimmee. Their big, you know, kind of opener for the year, out of about 4,000 cars that they sold, which is crazy awesome. But let's also compare this and just talk quickly about what we have over on Bring a Trailer. And you might even have a little bit of information on this car. Here is an additional 93 Teal Cobra.
Yeah. I mean, very similar option car.
And this sold at Christmas, 12/23. So this is just a few weeks ago, and it had 27,000 miles, and it went for 56.5. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody think about that. Okay. We have 3,700 and 27,000 miles and just under $30,000 in difference. So that's, again, we're talking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are, but we're talking about that difference between the mileage and the collector grade. Not that this isn't a collector grade.
Correct.
Car. I'm not necessarily going to sit here and go, you know, a 1 through 5 or a 1 through 10. Where do you put it? But this car at least has been maintained very well. It presented itself gorgeously, and you know, with 27,000 miles, you can still enjoy that car and put a few miles on it, and in my opinion, not really hurt the value of it. I'm not 100% sure that final number includes the buyer premium, but I don't know how Bring a Trailer works on that. So
yeah, I don't know either if they advertise it, because Mecum does at the 88. It's 80 plus, you know. Yep. Yeah.
So, you know, but this is a heck of a car, and
absolutely
again,
was
very, very similarly optioned to the one that Mecum had, and really nice car. But there haven't been a ton of teal cars coming up. You know, they haven't been on the market about. You mentioned last 60, 90 days across the board. I mean, a few on some pages here and there. But not anything publicly that I've seen a bunch of. You know, maybe an eBay car here or there, and a Bring a Trailer.
That's right.
Car here or there, but not a bunch.
I'll say too that you guys think about this Mecum auction. It was a couple of, like, most of this was out of one or two collections, but there was a lot of convertibles. Of the 32 that went across the block, 17 were convertibles, guys. So a crazy amount of convertibles, which a lot of convertible love here. Actually, some of these went for some good money, but these cars ranged. The lowest selling one was this 84 GT convertible at 9,900, and then we already talked about the high seller, the 88,000 for the 93 Teal Cobra with 3,700 miles. miles. But I think we just kind of like go through everybody. Look here, here's all the cars that went through. We'll give you a quick little kind of snippet. There's page 1, and then here's page 2. We've got another red Cobra right there, and so I think there was 3 Cobras total. There was 2 on the first page. So I'm gonna go back to the first page because there's a couple of cars I feel like we also want to address as well, right, Chet? We want to talk about, people have been talking about, and kind of give our opinions again, just why these are standouts. So here's a standout that everybody has. I feel like I've seen quite a bit online now through socials. Is this car? This is a '93 Reef blue car. And that's a right here, one of 891 produced on the Marty report. Reef blue. I mean, give me some thoughts. What do you think, Chet? 27.5 for a coupe, and look here at the bottom, rebuilt branding on the title. 27.5. Whew.
Well, as you mentioned, this particular car, it lit up social media. I mean, it was everywhere, and
absolutely.
Everybody had their opinion on it.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. As you mentioned last night, we had Matt Lasayak on here from MPD, and actually Matt got to have, quote, boots on the ground and see this car in person. And I will paraphrase his comments on it, but he was actually surprised. He said the car was in a little bit rougher condition. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Lance, than what he had thought. And he was very surprised at the number that it pulled. And I think a lot of folks at home were as well. But, you know, especially when you kind of look under the hood, we made mention, doesn't have the right intake on the car. There's a lot of wrong with it. Wheels are on the wrong way, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I didn't see a door data tag. I'm assuming because they described it. It is a real Reef V8 car, and there's not very many of them.
Right. And 5-speed.
Pulled a strong number, even in my opinion, because I think one would probably want to go through this car completely, you know, again. But you at least have, as I've said in the past, the bones you're starting with are with the car original. You know, it looks pretty solid. But boy, what a big number! And you know, I told Matt last night when we were talking about it, there had to be more than one in the room bidding on it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Definitely had to. I think this shows the people out there that are watching this video, there's coupe fever going on. There was a couple other coupes that sold, and they did okay as well, but this one would stand out, especially because of the rebuilt title. But we don't know what the rebuilt reason was for, so that probably factored in a little bit. Whoever bought it probably may have done a little bit more homework. They were probably there or something. But I definitely think that the rarity of the color, people, like I see people searching for Reef cars online all the time. Who's got a Reef coupe? Who's got a Reef car for sale? So it's a very popular color. Colors are very, very important to people because they not only like the color, but they want the rare colors. And I have chased those. I've got a Bimini blue and I chased it. So I don't blame them. But people have to understand there's some different stuff going on here. But definitely, I think the state of the hobby right now, you mentioned that to me earlier, is coupes are hot. And this really shows it.
Cobras are like I said earlier, top dog. We all know that.
Yep.
You know, but
right.
The notchback cars really across the board, but in particular, 91 through 93 have definitely been strong. Throw in an SSP car in the mix, if you will. They used to be just a niche group car, and now there's people looking for them, you know?
Yeah. So this is another Cobra here. While you're talking about that too, I just want to read the stats off real quick. Another 93 Cobra red. And this one's got what, 14,000 miles on it, and 14.7, went for 62.
Yeah. And I think this one didn't sell. Yeah. This is a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Car. Yep. I missed that.
And, there's a few things under the hood you can see aren't 100% correct on that car. Really, to me, with that low miles, and I remember Matthew once again mentioning this last night when we were talking, a car with that low of miles, in his opinion, the caliber of the car should have been maybe a little bit better. Could have presented itself a little bit better to draw a higher number. And, you know, when we were chatting, he was thinking maybe that seller was looking to try to get a $70,000 number, just a guess, and probably not wrong out of that car. And if it had a few things buttoned up on it, it probably could have drawn that number. especially with the crowd that was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And I think there was a solid Foxbody crowd there because of the amount of cars that people knew were going to come through. So I mean, this is definitely one of those. So a nice red Cobra, bringing still, decent money, just not enough that somebody wanted to let go of it. And let's see, the last one. Let's just go ahead and get these Cobras all taken care of. We've got another one here that did sell with 12,000 miles at $60,500. So another vibrant red and over opal gray interior. What's your thoughts on this one?
This is a gorgeous looking car. I think it's a killer looking car, and I know we discussed it, but it looks like, that looks like museum quality, or definitely more than show quality, collector car quality to the top level. And the mileage is right. The money is probably close. Probably could have got a little bit more. It's ironic that it got a little bit less and sold than the other one that didn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this one's a little bit more correct. But once again, that's the folks that are looking for the stock correct, the way it was on the showroom floor car. I mean, a non-modified, somewhat personalized car. And that's what this one was. I think someone probably got a good buy on this car. Really.
Yeah. I mean, this is one that, again, as a collector, put this in their collection and sit on it for, however many years, and they'll make some money off of that car. That'll be a good investment, actually. Here's a standout, guys. And again, we're trying to keep this to 30 minutes for you, but this was a standout. We all agreed last night when we talked about this, but this car, a 10,700 mile 93 GT that sold for $52,800. Wow. I mean, and over this opal gray cloth interior with that kind of mileage, and it's a GT. I think this is surprising a lot of people to see this part. It's not a Cobra. It's not a rare color. Why did it demand this kind of money? Because you guys had some great commentary on it last night, and I'll let you respond.
Well, I think the main takeaway we all agreed on was, if you think about it, the 93 Cobras, there were a tremendous amount of those cars, the street models, that were bought and put away.
Mm-hmm.
They were put away, originally bought as investments. I think once again, my opinion, I think some 93 GTs people knew it was the end of the run. The SN was coming out in 94, and but not everybody. I mean, they were still bought as daily transportation,
absolutely,
or as fun, sporty transportation.
That's right.
So there aren't a whole lot of these around of this caliber, this quality, with that kind of mileage on it. And this car is stunning. I mean, from the photos.
It is. And you hit the nail on the head. It's caliber and quality and low mileage of something that didn't get put up. These typically, a low mileage, most people think is 60,000 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got one with 50,000.
Right.
And I think that's low mileage.
It is low mileage. So to have barely, 10,700, that is, it's the odd bird out, being that's a 93 GT with those options and everything on it that is that mileage and this quality. So I think that's kind of what we all took away from that one. So I don't want to go into it anymore, because I think it kind of stands for itself, really.
It does. And they saw it and they put their money on it. I agree. That was a car to buy.
Here was a modified car. Let's talk about this one real quick. It says a built 331 stroker. It's got all forged internals. It's got it's got everything. This is basically a drag car that looks like could drive on the street. It says estimated 65,000 invested. I don't know if that's correct or not, but they bid went on at 32. I can assume that somebody probably did have 50, 55 plus in it, and they didn't want to let it go for 32. They're just keeping it. So it told me a lot about where the highly modded on the drag style is also. Like, that's what I took away on this one, because if you're trying to not necessarily make money, but maybe get more of your money back, I think it's obviously stock stuff, investment, low mileage stuff. But if you have some more modded stuff, it's about color and rarity of that. And then it's also probably about more drivability, maybe. Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think that's definitely part of the equation. Quality of build, I mean, just from what we're able to see, it looks like a pretty quality built car.
Yeah.
Once again, we didn't have it up on the lift to check it out, but as you alluded to, without a doubt, somebody had a quite a bit of money in this car.
You can't even get close to that for 32 on a build.
No, and that's the tough part. I talk to folks all the time, whether it's a PM, a phone call, they're asking about, hey, I'm looking at this. It's a modified car. What do you think? Or I'm looking to sell. What do you think I can get out of it? And it's tough. I mean, you want to be as honest with people as possible. And, in the same breath, if someone's into that $52,000 GT, I'm not going to tell them, hey, you can get 60 grand for it tomorrow. You know
Right.
what I mean? Nor would I say to someone with a modified car that has 60,000 in it, I'm going to tell you you're going to get 60,000 out of it. It's tough. That's part of the hobby, if you will, the selling of them. That's tough to explain to folks. So
I think this is a good back-to-back. We talked about that last one that went on at just over 30, 32, I think. Is that what it was?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
This one is a 93 that did sell for 37.4, which has a 347 stroker in it. This is more like a fun street weekend, fast, good car. But it does have, some MTs on the back, and it's got a little bit of that look, and it's probably got some good umph, But this car, it probably went for what, $5-6 grand more than the other one.
It did, but I think one thing we were in agreement on as well, whether it was the white notch or this hatch, you couldn't build the car for what the top number on that notch was.
No,
it didn't sell, and I don't necessarily believe you could build this car for this number. It
looks pretty clean.
When you start talking about the value side of it, and also, and someone looking for a throwback to old school street car, you got it right here.
Yeah,
that everybody.
And actually, that car does have a cage. I didn't notice that earlier. Yep, that's exactly right. So, but these the modded cars can bring some money. That's why I wanted to look at this one, and it did. And this auction showed us that on a couple of different areas. And then let's just go to this one real quick. You've got a 84 vert with a rebuilt V8 engine, and the odometer says 86. That could be 186. We don't know, but Florida car. The top looks in great shape. Matt mentioned that obviously earlier as well, how the tops on these things can be a very expensive and tedious task. So to start with a convertible, if you like, to one that has a nice top, that's something important. And, I think this would be a great driver car if you wanted a vert to go to the weekend, ice cream, car show, whatever you want, and slowly grab you new parts from MPD to restore these little things, the imperfect things, right? And make it more of a driver restored car.
Yeah, you could personalize. I mean, to get into this car for 10 grand, a top, trust me, I see it all the time on the convertible page that I help run. People are asking, what's a good price for a top? And it's killer. I mean, you could spend $2,000 or more on buying a top and having it professionally put in. Yeah. They're not easy. Those cars are, better term, quirky. They definitely have a life of their own. They make I own one. They make a lot of noise, but I love them. It's their personality.
That was a great deal. I think that was a good buy.
It was to get into the hobby and start. You can personalize that car your way and enjoy it. It'd be a great car to have fun with.
Absolutely. Then there was this car. We all liked this car, and interesting enough, this is a light gray with the red pinstripe. It looks darker in those photos. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get the video. Let's play the video so people can see it. 38,000 miles, sold for $36,000.
Yeah. And I think the big takeaway was we noticed it's a one owner car.
It is a one owner as well.
This car was taken care of from the jump, and, that light gray, I know some of us called it dove grays, whatever, back in the day. You just don't see that color very often. And, of course, it would have been a turbine wheel car, but it looks great with the ponies on it. And look at that red interior. I mean, there's not too many colors, maybe black, white, and then this light gray that the red everybody loves. And it's making a comeback, that scarlet or ruby. I'm telling you, we talked last night even about the blues. That's a cool car.
It is
very cool car.
Yeah.
And very well taken care of, and it's good
money.
that is a good number.
It is.
You know, so
It's absolutely a good number. All
yeah.
right, we're gonna bring this screen back up. And what do you think? What else? We did hit. We talked about another rare color here. This bright lapis two tone. That one was pretty standoutish as well because these crazy colors are pretty sought after. Is this a 1 year only color?
It is KF. Okay. Yeah, 93. Yep.
And I think I looked in the book last night, and the Foxbody Mustang recognition guide is like 800 GTs and maybe 500 convertibles or something like that, or hatches.
Yeah, not very many.
Yeah,
yeah.
So just over 1,000.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique car. I mean, this is the car post ultra blue color wise. You know, that it replaced the paint code car.
Right.
And 93. That's another thing with a number of these cars. Even the feature cars, the 7-Up car that this particular family had in their collection. You know, that was the end of the run. I mean, I think there was some extra emphasis by those bidding to get, you know, the end of the Foxbody run and pick up some of these unique cars and colors, as you mentioned. 93, if I recall, there was, I believe, 7 colors in 93 that were unique to that year only.
Yeah.
So,
and 23.6, pretty good number. It was automatic as well. So
it is. You know, we didn't really I don't know if we knew the mileage on it, but it definitely was strong.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can't imagine like going to this auction and seeing this many convertibles if you wanted to buy a coupe or something. I mean, you're like, there's 3, you know?
Yeah.
And then there was this one. It's like, you've got the wheels got to go. You got to change these wheels out. It says it's got a new crate engine, new 302, new transmission. I didn't even remember that part when we talked about it last night, but man, that's for 17. And if it's got a new crate engine, if they have receipts for a new crate engine and a new 5-speed in it, and receipts for other driveline upgrades, dude, at 17, wow, on a coupe.
It's a 5 lug car, I believe, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, because it has to be, because those wheels are off a newer Mustang. So I mean, it's crazy. That's a good deal.
You know, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you mentioned, you know, the state of the hobby. It just shows you 3 coupes and a couple of wild numbers on a couple of them, you know, notwithstanding the modified white car. The other 2, I mean, wow. And that's really what I'll say. I'll say, wow.
Yeah.
You know, they in my opinion, you know, this car definitely needs a lot of work. But if you've got the time and the passion and the plan, you can make it happen and have a heck of a car.
And a beautiful emerald green. People love this emerald green.
Oh, and that's the thing, different than that reef car.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking 2 colors there that definitely, you throw in your Bimini blue, you throw in your Calypsos, and all of a sudden, and maybe an electric red in 93, and you're going, wow. You know, there's some colors out there that people definitely would pay up for, and obviously they have.
100%. I'm going to swap back over now. We'll talk just for the last couple of minutes. Let me go back and let's see on Bring a Trailer. We also have a real standout, obviously, a 93 Cobra R. This is a 1 of 107 build. These are the rare. It sold just after Christmas, right before the New Year's, for $139,000. And let's see, what's the mileage on this one? 10,000 miles. Wow, that's actually a lot of miles for a Cobra R.
That is a lot of miles. I believe that car may have had some track time on it as well. Yeah.
I can't read all of it right now while we're doing it. I'm sure it says it, because Bring a Trailer, that's another thing too I want to mention. Bring a Trailer does a great job, because they are all online, about giving way more pictures, way more documentation. And you have the chat at the bottom where people are talking back and forth. And if you pay attention, you can learn a lot about these before you bid. So look, there's 93 comments. Some of it's just garbage, but a lot of it is actually good stuff. Yeah. So you can learn a lot from Bring Your Trailer. So I appreciate that. Yeah. I think that's probably, in my opinion, probably a good price for that car with 10,000 miles on it. Seemingly that the other ones I know there's probably a good bit of Cobra R's out there with single-digit mileage.
They're out there. Yeah, I think as we referenced earlier regarding that red GT, you know, not necessarily being put away. I truthfully believe that a lot of the 93 R cars were bought and put away. I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
I only know of a handful, and I try to follow these cars very religiously that were tracked, that were used. Now, when you get into the 95s and the 2000s, there were more, but of course, there were more of them built too. So here's a great looking car.
It is. And I want to talk about this because there's a lot of convertibles through the Mecum, and there's a lot of good prices on the convertibles here on Bring a Trailer that people are starting to get, because convertibles to me, like, they used to be like, obviously you go and buy one from the dealer, a fully loaded GT convertible is like one of the most expensive ones you could get. And now they're just not quite as popular. They're probably least on the totem pole for a lot of people, especially now that coupes have risen and stuff like that. But this being a Celine convertible, it's an 88 5-speed car, which is really cool. And I like that, the red and gold colors. Let's see, mileage, 24,000 miles at $45,000. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a stunning car. Unfortunately, I don't have a tremendous amount of Celine background other than, I mean, I have seen and been around a number of them over the years, but they really weren't. Just a few years ago, I was having this discussion with a good friend of mine, Dennis, about the Celines not getting any love. And he had recently acquired one. And boy, they've really made a charge in the last couple of years. And rightfully so. I mean, always your SA10 cars are the top dog.
Yep.
Your SC cars are right in there. Your car is right in there in the top 5. I mean, desirability from what I've seen. And then you're going to start filtering everything down from there, Celine wise. But boy, they have jumped.
This is a sand beige interior too, so that's more desirable. Yeah. People, I've had multiple people hit me up on Instagram and stuff lately about, I got the ugly tan interior. I'm like, you might think it's ugly, but they're getting to be more desirable. Like, people are like, can I get a sand beige, please? Because everything you see is gray or black, and it's like, and some reds, but the tan is definitely, that sand beige is I like it. It's grown on me in the last 3 to 5 years a lot. So this is a pretty car. Agreed.
It stands out, and against this, color combo, what a beautiful car.
Yep. Here's an SVO that sold for 26, which I like. Convertible here. Let's look at this one. 30,000 right before Christmas. That looks pretty clean. 30 grand is a big number for a convertible. 1,800 miles. There's your reason, folks. 1,800 miles.
Yeah. There's a museum piece right there.
Ooh, and the blue, the white and blue.
Yeah.
I like that. Yep. That looks good. That thing is, it just screams crisp. Crisp.
It's clean.
Ooh. Yes. Yep. So look, I mean, people will pay money for a low mileage convertible. Absolutely. Yep. Came out of Texas, it looks like.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Car. Well, look, these are, if you guys are still watching this, I thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed the commentary back and forth from Chet and I. We're going to give a couple more little things, and one being our best deals. What we thought was the best deal. I'll let Chet go first, then I'll go. What do you think was the best deal at this Mecum auction on all the Foxbodies? What do you think somebody walked away with the best deal?
Well, I had one originally picked, but then after going through the pages, and you're on the page where it is, I like that Celine. I really like the.
You like the Celine clone?
I do. That car, number one, you couldn't build that car for that money.
No.
And to me, that car right there, tint the windows, put a system in it, and roll. It's awesome. It's an automatic, but it doesn't matter. I just think it's a great looking car. I really do.
It really is.
I think it was a great buy.
Yeah, 18.7 is a great buy. You can't touch a Celine for 10 grand more than that, a real one. So if you just want something to call your own and have a good look, that's a great looking car for 18.7.
Yep.
I agree with that. I'm actually, last night I made one thing, and I'm going to steal Matt Lazaic's pick. Matt from MPD, appreciate you, brother. But this is a deal. I mean, this is a 5.0. It does have an automatic, but this car, I think they did show like in the video the mileage, but we couldn't see it. It was so quick. I don't know the miles, but this car seems to be in pretty good condition. And to go for 14.8, you could really get yourself a winner here. If it were me, I'd buy this car, and I would definitely get the stance right, put some wheels on it, and just enjoy it. I mean, it's a great buy.
Yep. Solid bones, as I keep saying.
Yeah.
And you 100%. Personalize it, make it your own.
100%. And you're not in it for a huge amount. It's got the titanium interior, which my Bimini does, and just rock the car, and enjoy it. I think that's a winner. That's my
You know,
pick for best deal.
for the folks at home, thinking about a car like this, remember, this is an auction, end of auction results. So, I mean, these cars, they're out there in the wild still. They're tough
Absolutely.
to find, but you can find them. And most generally not for that number. You
No.
might even get a better deal than that out there.
Yeah.
They're between marketing these and getting them to and from and paying whoever and whatever, that car is commanding that kind of number. I know the days of the real cheap Fox aren't out there anymore. We
No,
all
it's
know
not.
that.
As
But,
well as just like
boy,
we're living in times right now in 2023 where inflation is bad across the country. So, I mean, there's that has to take in consideration as well. But it's still, they've gone up in value. They're going to continue to hold. I think we're going to see a mimicking of the early 60s muscle cars, or I'm sorry, the late 60s muscle cars and those kind of things. Just because they're our generation, that had these cars and love these cars. I don't have 69 Camaros and 68 Mustangs and all that kind of stuff. I like those, but that's not my go-to, and it's not what I want to have. I want to have a Foxbody or two or three or whatever, and I think a lot of people feel that way. They're in their prime time of their life where they can enjoy it. They finally made a little bit of money in their life, hopefully, and they can have a fun car. And look, these are great cars to have and drive and enjoy. So I think there was some deals to be had, but I think that my takeaway from all of this is know where you should be looking to buy. I think other people have alluded to this as well. At any type of auction event, there are definitely people that are back and forth. That drives the number up, the enthusiasm, the anticipation, all the excitement that's going on, the yelling and all the crowd and the lights. And it's a real spectacle, as well as, people sometimes might be, having some drinks and stuff of that nature. So there's a lot that goes into it, but it's an experiential kind of a place. So it's definitely fun to go. Is it the place where I'd go to buy a car? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on the car I want. I think that what I think about this is, my opinion, people see these cars. I know a guy specifically that has multiple Cobras, and he's thinking to himself, I know at this point I haven't heard from him, but he's just a funny guy, and he would definitely be like, see, Lance, there you go. These cars are going up. I'm glad I've kept all mine. And he's like, they're going up. This is what I should be able to get for mine. And a lot of people are going to think that. So just know that as you're going about and you're looking for cars and stuff like that, people are going to feel a little differently. It doesn't make me want to bash somebody's car for asking more money. At the same time, when you're going to buy a car, I think you got to look at that car for what it is versus some of these cars.
Yep. I agree with that. That was a good buy. I won't argue that at all. So
yeah, I thought it was for sure.
LX. Really nice looking car.
Yeah. Well, look, if you've enjoyed this video, again, please hit that like button. Thank you to Chet for being involved. Thank you for all your input. Thank you for Matt Lazaic, MPD, for being involved and helping us with this video last night as well, even though he's not in the actual video because we had some issues, but he gave us a ton of great input. Go check MPD out if you've got a Foxbody and need some great parts. Unbelievable company, great satisfaction levels. I mean, they get the product out the door. You're not going to be waiting forever. And as well as if you need a free catalog, go check it out. npdlink.com, and you get you a free Foxbody catalog. And I hope we see you guys very soon, maybe at Ponies in the Smokies or another event. Enjoy that Foxbody and have a fantastic Foxbody day.